But we're going to start by saying welcome back. It is part 3 of 4, aka the second half of our day here at the Gather Community's winter celebration. We had 6 amazing speakers this morning. We started off with Lisa Condon and then went to Teresa Ream and Stephanie Flanders Martin. All of them will be on one of the replay recordings. We kind of record it by section. So you're definitely going to want to check that out, especially if you weren't here or if you need a refresher on all of their amazing content. When we came back from the break after that, we talked about Sangha Community, which is our first charity partner of the day. Stephanie shared with us their mission to support people all over the world, actually, in various countries with building their businesses so that they can support their families and grow. We then went to Fearless Generations, Kelly and Terry, Angela Wilson, and Paula Allen as our second section speakers. And then we went to lunch, and here we are. So the only things, thank you, Paula, for that. The only thing that I didn't get a chance to mention before we came back was that part of what's on the dashboard, in addition to, the fun backgrounds and the information on our charity partners and our speaker agenda, is also a little bit about some things that are coming up in the Gather community and a square about joining our VIP community if you are not one yet. If you bought a select ticket for this event, then you are a VIP for the next 3 months. And what does that mean? That means you are automatically registered for everything we have coming up, including next week's monthly Business Connect. Believe it or not, even on December 19th, we're getting random mystery new people from the planet signing up for that Business Connect. So the year's not over yet. It's still going to be a great event, even though we're getting close to when everyone's kind of shutting down. I think we're really going to have a great group there. So I hope you'll join us for that. It is free. So if you're not a VIP, you can just register for it and join us. And there's a couple of other things happening as well. I have a workshop happening next week. That's going to be fun. And then, of course, we break a little bit for the new year and come back strong in January. Our first summit of next year will be in February. So January will be about getting everybody, settled in. You got your clarity, you got your stuff getting going. And then we'll all celebrate everyone coming back into 2026 with that new summit in February. So that's what's coming up and happening here in the Gather community. Before we spin our second wheel prize. Oh, actually, we're going to do that first. No, wait, is Kelly here? Kelly's here. Okay, there's Kelly. And Terry's square is here, but I don't know if she's here. So I'm going to just leave it to Kelly to figure out how she wants to do this. Kelly is going to share with us a little bit more about her fundraiser, Break the Silence, or I should say their fundraiser. And Kelly, you can give a little bit of background about what that is. And you gave me some information about specifically where you're looking to raise funds now, something about a program that the task force used to get funded by the government, but they don't have money or something like that. So I can't wait to hear a little bit more about that. Why don't you share that with us now? And you're muted. You're muted. You're muted.
Sorry, trying to do too many things at once.
No worries. Go ahead.
Okay. So yes, we started off as a fundraiser for suicide prevention 7 years ago. And now we have transformed into a official nonprofit. And so
congratulations.
Thank you. And so our mission now is focused more on survivors of loss, of suicide loss. So that's what we are. We're survivors of suicide loss. We lost my father in 1993. And at that time, there was no support for survivors. And sadly, there's really not that much for survivors now, even 32 years later. So we've always worked with the the Suicide Prevention Task Force, and they do have certain things that support survivors, like the Lost Team, which is a group of people that show up for the families right after the event and support them and give them all the information they need to how they access support. And another thing they offer is counseling, free counseling for family members. I think you get at least 6 sessions free. And that's the thing that is getting affected by all of the government cuts coming up. And so it's a $20,000 program. And they're not going to have any of that money. So we want to try to supplement some of that for them, and support survivors with getting counseling. We also want to have community events so that survivors can come together and we can build a community where we can feel seen and heard, and not judged, because that's a thing that survivors deal with, a lot of shame and guilt because of the way that they lose their loved one. And we already have a couple events in mind for next year, as well as giving scholarships to seniors graduating who have been affected by suicide. Because we were all in high, well, not all of us, but some of us were in high school, and didn't receive any of that support. And we really want to support our teens, especially with community and support like that, because that's what we needed and didn't receive. So those are some of the things that the money goes to, is to support those different activities, and support specific support with the counseling. And yeah. So there's two ways that you can donate, either through PayPal, which the link is already there, and if I can find it, I'm also gonna do a QR code for Venmo. So whichever is easier for you. And Terry, do you have anything you want to share?
You're muted, honey.
We call it break the silence because when my kids were in high school, three of them were in high school, and when my husband committed suicide, and their counselors and their friends told them not to talk about it. They said, just be silent, don't talk about it. And what we found out is that so many people that we did not even know had a common experience and needed that understanding kept silent as well. So every time I've spoken to community groups, like Rotary or Lions Club or Kiwanis, invariably 2 or 3 people will come up to me afterwards and say, this is the first time I've told anybody that my brother, my uncle, my grandfather lost his life to suicide as well. So we know that there is a multitude of people who are keeping silent, and in that silence they have no support. So that's why we call it break the silence. We want people to recognize that the survivors, they just really don't need to feel guilt and shame. And yet they do, because they can't talk about it. They can't get that off their chest and really feel the love of others towards them. So that's why we call it break the silence. And we're really encouraged by the amount of community support we received at our first really live event last week, and just want to grow it so that we can really provide that community of understanding, support, and love for those people that have been silent for so long. So that's why we call it that. Just a little explanation of break the silence.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful, and congratulations again. I know I've told you a few times already on your event last weekend. It's grown so much, and it's been so wonderful to watch your success in working your mission to have greater and greater impact. It's a pleasure to get to be related to people who are really trying to make a difference in so many people's lives. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so happy
Yeah.
to support you. We've supported Break the Silence at past winter celebrations as well. It's just because this is when they do their annual event, it's always top of my mind to highlight them as much as we can. And obviously you've met Kelly and Terry now, if you didn't know them before today. If you have any additional questions or want to send anyone to their way or have them speak on behalf of this issue with any organizations that you know, et cetera, right? Connecting people is what Gather Community really is all about, whether it's us specifically here in the community or the communities around us, that we can then grow everyone's impact in whatever way that we're trying to do that. Oh, great. And your website is there too. So that's great. Awesome. Well, thank you, Kelly and Terry,
Thank
for
you.
the information, for sharing the story. And if anyone else has anything for them, you always can click their little button on the connect form and you guys will connect, whether it's about what they talked about in their speech or about this. So I wanted to share that. Okay. Thank you very much. Before we start with our next speaker, we're going to spin the wheel. And all of you who are here are eligible to win a prize. And Donya is offering this round's prize. And oh, she has it like physically in her hand. So she sent me a link. You're muted, but she sent me a link, and I'll say that it's like a car essential oil diffuser, right?
Yeah, I put one together while we were during the break.
Oh, great.
It's a car diffuser, center diffuser, plugs into the lighter port in your car, and then and then it comes with these little pads, and you put a couple of drops of oil on the pad, and then you slide it in, and it'll heat it up, and it'll scent the car. And then it also
Awesome.
comes with a bottle of my Stay Alert blend, which is really great for long drives, especially at night, so it'll kind of it's a
Yeah.
stimulating blend with peppermint, eucalyptus, cinnamon, all that kind of stuff. So
Oh,
it's
I love that.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
I
cool.
love that Stay Alert blend. That sounds great. Donya has a whole, I mean, she's not really going to talk about it today, but she has a whole like line of aromatherapy and essential oil kind of based products that she's done that isn't her main focus for her business now, but it all still exists. I've got lip balms
Yeah.
and different things around my office as well. That's always really great. And, it's important when you work with essential oils that you know where the oils come from and that their
Yeah.
quality and all of that. And so Donya, you can trust. So awesome. Well, Donya, thank you for offering that to our wheel prize winner. Paula, do we have a wheel? Let's see it. Let's spin it. If you're here, you get to win it. One of you. It rhymes. Dun, dun, dun. It's Erica Gimbel. Are you still there, my friend? I know she's here somewhere.
I'm here. I'm here. I heard my name.
You win. You won
I
the prize
won.
on the wheel.
All right.
Love it. Hey, you're all fancy. Where are you going?
I'm going to go to a benefit after I give my little thing later.
Oh, nice. Love it. All right. Well, so Donya, I know you know Erica, but I don't know if you have her address or anything, but I'm happy to send that over to you unless she does it to you first. Great. Well, congratulations on your little prize. That'll be lovely in your car. And Donya is going to be speaking in this group, but not first. We're going to make her wait just a minute because before Donya speaks, Mary Knippel is going to be our next speaker. And whenever Mary takes the stage here on our platform, I'm ready with my notepad because no problem, Mary. I'm ready with my notepad because she has this ability to kind of really pull new thoughts. Like, I'm a writer. A lot of us write content. We write our stories. We're aware of the stories that have impacted our lives and how we got here. But sometimes she's helped me find other stories that I hadn't really related to who I've become or how I am becoming. So I'm really grateful for that. And Mary's going to talk about today the story your soul needs you to own. And I really feel that from her every time she speaks. So Mary, my friend, please feel free. Take it away.
Oh. Welcome to the story your soul needs you to own and the myths silencing you. Thank you, Tracy and the Gather team, for supporting this vision of taking bold action, facing those myths that hold you back, and all of you who are here that have the audacity to be curious about those myths. I promise I'm going to give you everything I can in the time I have allowed. And for those of you hear something, I'll let you know how we can continue this conversation. I'm an author, a speaker, and a mentor. And I'm also just like everyone who hesitates when they're faced with a blank page. I know the myths that we're going to be talking about intimately because what I know to be true, and I'm committed to inspiration, compassion, and synchronicity. Your story holds wisdom that only you can express. And that story represents hope to someone else. It's a process for you to be healing yourself and others. And your story creates connection and transformation. Every woman carries a sacred story, and today we're going to reclaim it. At the end of our time together, you will identify the myths holding you back, flip the script on your inner critic, clear that mental fog to your writing, and gain clarity on how to move forward. But before we can move forward, let's uncover what's holding you back. So we're going to talk about 3 myths today. And the first one is, I'm not a writer. One of my clients, we'll call her Jerry, thought she didn't have the skills to start writing. And this myth might sound like, I don't know where to start. My grammar isn't good. I've never written anything before. I'm not creative enough. Type a 1 in the chat if you can relate to Jerry. The truth is, if you can think, speak, share ideas, you can write. You have the skills. The best books and blogs were written in simple conversational language. Writing is about presence and connection, not perfection. So let's reframe every one of those. I don't know where to start. Clarity comes from writing, not from waiting. And we've talked about waiting before to start something. Let's reframe, my grammar isn't good. My voice is born from authenticity, not flawless grammar. Let's reframe, I've never written anything before. Life experience has given you your content. All you're going to do is put it on paper. Reframe, I'm not creative enough. Creativity grows the moment I give myself permission to write. Many best-selling authors doubted whether they could be writing. Think about Maya Angelou, who's one of my favorites, Stephen King. They doubted themselves, but they kept writing. They showed up on the page. You don't have to be Hemingway to write your own story. Writing isn't about perfect grammar, flowery prose. It's about that connection you're making with your reader. And that connection is based on your experiences, the insights you've gained from what you've lived. Okay, number 2, I need to be an expert. Another one of my clients thought she had to have a degree or be an authority. This myth sounds like, who am I to teach anyone? Other women have bigger stories. I don't have credentials. My story isn't important enough. Type a 2 in the chat if you can relate to Dana. Your life is your expertise. The lessons you have lived are your credentials. Experience is the highest form of wisdom. Your story is enough. It's more than enough. So let's reframe, who am I to teach anyone? My lived experience can help someone who's just behind me. Let's reframe. Other women have bigger stories. There's room for every story, including mine. Let's reframe. I don't have credentials. What I've lived qualifies me. And I get emotional, but everybody knows that. That means I'm really connecting with what I'm saying, and that I know somebody in the audience is really needing this. Let's reframe. My story isn't important enough. My voice adds perspective no one else on earth can offer. And this is something that, if you've talked to me any length of time, that has come up. Because no one else knows what you have lived through, how you coped, and how that has made you who you are, given you the skills you have, and caused you to be doing what you're doing and having the life that you are. You don't have to be the world's top authority to write about your life, because you already have valuable experience in you. People connect with real, relatable stories, not expert opinions. Like, you can quote a statistic. If I dropped in that 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime, okay, that's a dry statistic. But when I say it's happened to me 3 times, then there's a deeper connection, because it's not just about a catastrophic illness. It's about someone who is thriving and changed the story of this happened to me and this is what I'm doing with it. Some of the most powerful writers started by simply sharing their personal journey. People want authenticity more than textbook knowledge. And I know the inner critic will start saying, oh, what if somebody thinks I'm boring? What if they're, and criticize my ideas? Well, I'll tell you a secret. Some will, some won't. The right people, the ones who need your words, will appreciate your honesty and courage. Write for them, not the critics. Okay, myth number 3. I have nothing new to say. My client, Linda, told me she believed her voice didn't carry enough weight to matter. This myth can sound like, my life is too ordinary. Nothing big has happened to me. No one would care. Type a 3 in the chat if you can relate to Linda. Your ordinary can be the most extraordinary to someone else. The truth is what resonates. Your lived experience is your wisdom. What feels simple to you can be life-changing to someone else. So let's reframe, my life is too ordinary. The ordinary is where readers find themselves. My story gives them a mirror. Reframe, nothing big has happened to me. Small moments often hold the biggest truths. Let's reframe, no one would care. I guarantee someone out there is waiting for the words only you can write. Imagine if everyone thought, "Ah, there's so many things out there. No one would even read my stuff. We'd miss out on so much." So imagine you've been sharing your story And people come up to you and say, what you said, what you wrote, made such a difference for me. It inspired them and offered them hope. They could do something different. The bottom line is you don't need permission or a brand new idea. The only thing you need to do is start. Because we underestimate the value of our experiences. What seems ordinary to us has an extraordinary impact on someone else. We all face the myths and the scenarios I described. It's how we challenge those myths and take action that matter. So let's recap. Jerry learned writing is about presence and connection, not perfection. She wanted to write. And although she had confidence in her ability as a QuickBooks expert, growing up in the grocery business, she knew numbers and from an early age recognized the significance of the price of a can of beans. But she felt hesitant about putting together words. It takes time to develop your message and the courage to voice it out there in the world. And now she's writing not only blogs, she's writing her own book and programs for her clients. And she supports small business structures more than, and knows that they're more than a neatly column of numbers. She embraces her identity as a writer. Dana learned her story is enough, more than enough. As an executive coach with a passion for helping young people develop leadership skills, she wasn't sure how she could link anything from her life experiences with the role she wanted to develop. And when we had a chance to really dive into her foundation, she worked for her father in the dry cleaning business. And her job was to untangle the wire coat hangers. Can you imagine the patience and the tenacity it takes to untangle wire coat hangers? And then her expertise as an executive coach and that lived experience gave her compassion for today's youth. And she's perfectly prepared to be patient and connect with the kids who are part of her youth leadership academy. And Linda learned that what feels simple to you can be life-changing for someone else. She turned her grief of losing her mother at a very young age into gratitude. She was grateful to be able to be there at a difficult time for her own daughter, and showing the resilience and compassion. She wrote about it as a co-author, and not only wrote about it, she developed a program for mothers and daughters to travel life's journey with love, confidence, and resilience. She said, yes, that she did have something to say. My mission is to support entrepreneurs in sharing their wisdom, to own the story your soul has placed on your heart. I've written in journals for decades. It was only after my second breast cancer diagnosis that I stepped into being a published author and a catalyst for other women to own their stories. It's time our stories are written, to banish the myths that keep us silent. I invite you to set up a soul story activation session with me and to chat about your story and the one that your soul needs you to own. I'd love to see you in my soul story activation room soon. Thank you.
Awesome. You know what? Right? Like, take a breath. I feel so like I just am thinking, right? Who else uses writing to get clarity. And then imagine once you're clear, if you helped other people more because of it. Whether you share the actual story that you wrote or at least just understood yourself even more as a result. So
Well, that's
good.
it. It's writing for us first. It's
Yeah.
that foundation.
Awesome. Paul, you put that in our private chat. Yeah, so good. You'll find Mary's link on the freebie thing to schedule a time with her. And to take your, like, if this got you thinking about, what am I like keeping to myself that is going to change someone else's life? Talk to Mary because she can help you with the next steps if you're not quite sure how to get that to proceed. Beautiful, Mary. Thank you so much. And of course, you'll get a chance to check in with Mary when we do breakout rooms after Donya and Lia speak. But before we go to Donya, I want to acknowledge that we forgot to do our breakout rooms when we came back from lunch. So we're going to do quick breakout rooms now to kind of touch base on how the morning's been for you. But really, here's the question that I want you to answer with each other. When we're at Winter Celebration next year, what are you going to be celebrating then? Right? What are you looking to celebrate at this time next year? Maybe it's going to be that you're going to write more because you know that there's stories in you. I know there's a couple of people here working on books already, and more people in our community on top of that. So what are you going to be celebrating? Will it be related to this story that Mary just was encouraging you to bring out? Will it be related to the structure and the who's and the how's that Paula talked about? Will it be related to looking at your life in an unlimited way, the way Angela talked about this morning? What will it be? What's come to mind so far? What are you going to be celebrating a year from now? We're going to make it quick, groups of 3 to 4, 6 minutes or so. Paula's going to open the rooms. Let's connect and we'll see you after.
Overcommitment, and we all have a little bit of that, don't we? This time of year. Well, your immune system feels the strain, right? So the good news, though, is you can quickly restore balance, and in so doing, you can protect your energy, your focus, and your health through the holidays and beyond, right? So today I'm going to be sharing 3 areas of focus for building a strong foundation for immunity by finding and establishing, or really like reestablishing, your rhythms in each of these areas. That sound good? And I'll be sharing some super tips along the way. So, this is obviously a pretty big topic. It's bigger than the scope of it is bigger than I can cover in the limited amount of time I have with you today. But as always, I will do my best to deliver as much value as I can. And if you have questions or you want to connect with me and get more information, make sure you join me in the breakout room during the next break. And better yet, take advantage of my special holiday invitation that I'm going to share with you at the end. So I have a lot to cover and I'm going to move quickly. So I highly recommend that you have a pen and piece of paper handy if you want to, you might want to take notes. Tracy, we good for screen sharing? Yep. Okay.
It should be. Yep.
Okay. Let's see if we can get this thing happening.
My friend, we can't hear you, or I can't anymore. Your screen share is good, but your sound went wonky. Am I the only one?
Yeah, I can't hear Donya either.
Okay, Donya, we can't hear you for some reason. Do you want to unshare and try again? No, we can't hear you.
Did you have AirPods or something? Do you want to turn off like sound, like things that might be interacting with? Because I had that issue the other day with my AirPods interacting. Turn off your Bluetooth.
I think something just went crazy with Zoom. Paula, are you seeing like Is there anything weird happening for you?
No, it's working just fine, but I can't hear her. That's the only
Yeah, I'm
thing.
gonna
Yeah.
unspotlight you, see if we can do
Like when you
anything.
shared, Donya, it took over
Me,
your
yeah.
audio. So go down to your audio and make sure you have the right
Microphone
things.
chosen.
Yeah.
No.
Um, she could also reshare and just make sure that it's not checked off anything weird with your share sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But right now we still can't hear her. Huh.
Hmm.
She could call in.
Yeah. This is unusual.
Yeah, this doesn't happen very often.
No.
We haven't had very many problems over the years.
And it's not that the audio isn't connected, because
Uh-huh.
if you're not having trouble with technology, you're not using it enough. It's not trouble with the audio because I muted and then unmuted and that didn't do
Right,
anything.
Mary? Uh,
Please
we have a
stand
couple of
by.
events coming up next week.
We do. Well, I talked about those already, that we have the Biz Connect coming up on Friday. We have my workshop coming up. Donya, do you want to? She just left. I don't know if she did that on purpose or if
Probably did it on purpose. She probably went out
she
to come
did.
back
She said,
in
I'm
and
going to
see.
drop out and come back. Okay.
Right.
So please stand by. We were 2 minutes ahead of schedule. And so now we'll be behind schedule again, but it won't be bad. Anyway, welcome, Jana. It's nice to have you here. Let's see, did anyone else just show up? No, everyone else. Jen's here now. We're glad to have you here. Welcome to the Gather community.
Heather Black just showed up.
Donnie's, oh, Heather's here. That's right. Okay, Donnie's
You hear
coming
me
back
now?
in. Yes, we can hear you now. Okay.
I don't know what that was all about.
Yeah,
'Cause I didn't
sometimes
change any settings on my end, so I don't know. Okay, let's see what happens when we screen share
when you
here.
share it.
All
Yep.
right. Just type in the chat if you still can't hear me, or just say it. I can
We
hear
will
you.
Yeah, I
definitely
think we're
let you
good.
know.
Okay, let's see.
Mary's crossing her fingers for your screen share.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, we can
Yes.
hear
Oh,
you. All right.
Sorry about that. What I was saying was that I may or may not be able to monitor the chat, and I'll do my best that I'll try to do that. But
No worries. And
if
if
there's
there's
anything of
anything,
interest, you can share it with me.
yeah, if there's anything crucial, I'll make sure to pop in.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. And I'm gonna just collapse the video so it's not too much in there. So anyway, thanks for your patience. Anytime I talk about this topic, about immunity, I always like to start with this famous quote. This is Louis Pasteur's famous last words: "The microbe is nothing, the terrain is everything." And so for those of you who may not be familiar with Louis Pasteur, he's the father of modern germ theory. And modern germ therapy, for better or for worse, has profoundly influenced the course of Western medicine and their treatment approaches for over a century now. And the whole idea behind it is that there's all these germs out there, the bad guys, and when they get into us, we have to do everything possible to kill them, even sometimes at the expense of the good guys. And you see the examples of this in real life with things like cancer treatments and the superbugs, right? So with traditional cancer treatments like radiation and chemotherapy, they kill the bad guys, they kill the cancer cells, but they're also quite toxic and they kill a lot of your good cells and they can seriously weaken your immune system. And sadly, for some people, when they do those treatments, they find that later on the cancer cells come back even stronger and more resistant. And then with the superbug phenomenon, we're really talking about antibiotic resistance. So the long and short of it is that the more we kind of try to come up with new and innovative ways to kill the bad guys, the wilier they get at evading the treatment, right? So this quote here again, it confirms Louis Pasteur's rival, a guy named a fellow named Pierre Béchamp, whose life's work was he's trying to put this message out there, right? That it's not about the microbes, it's about the terrain, and the terrain is all about the environment inside your body, like your internal ecology. And sadly, but not surprisingly, Béchamp was, basically dismissed as a lunatic, French guy. Which has its parallels in modern history. Anyway, let's get here. So oops, back. So the truth is, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? Makes you even stronger. And that goes both ways, right? Whether you're the microbe or you're the host, right? So if you're a microbe, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. If you're the host, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, because it stimulates your immune system to build a robust protection against that same invader going forward. So that, in contrast to Western medical approach, holistic health and alternative medicine focuses on the terrain, right? So that if you're healthy and you're consistently making lifestyle choices that support your immune system rather than weaken it, then your immune system will do what it was brilliantly designed to do, which is to protect you from all manner of harm. Now, it bears repeating, and I'm going to say it anyway. If you take good care of your immune system, it will take care of you, right? So what are some of the primary ways you can boost and support your immune system during this time of year when colds and flus run rampant, and those competing pressures of the season can quickly leave you feeling drained and vulnerable? Let's look at the first area that's critical to supporting your immune health, right? The importance of good sleep. We all know how important getting good sleep is, right? All throughout, not just during the holidays. So getting good night's rest is really critical to our overall health and well-being. And the reason for that is because that's when your immune system does its best work, right? It kicks into gear and actively does its thing while you're sleeping. So sleep is when your body's repair system kicks in. Your immune cells reset, inflammation lowers, and hormones get rebalanced. And studies show that people who don't get enough quality sleep are more likely to get sick when they're exposed to a virus like the common cold or the flu. So what happens when you don't sleep well? Well, a lack of proper sleep can also affect how fast you recover if and when you get sick. So you want to like think of your sleep as your nightly software update, to put that in a business context. If you skip it, then your system starts to run slower and eventually start to bog down. And then eventually your defenses just crash just when you need them the most, right? So how can you restore your rest and reclaim your nighttime rhythm? So paying attention to things like your sleep environment is important, and other factors like stress and overconsumption of stimulants all play an important role. But equally important is syncing up with your circadian rhythm, which is something that a lot of people overlook. And what does that look like? Expose yourself appropriately. So one of the fastest and easiest ways to restore your nighttime rhythm is to align your sleep-wake cycle with natural light. And what that looks like, or how it starts, is you want to expose yourself to morning light immediately upon waking, right? So, the conventional wisdom is that you should just get outside and take like a 10-minute walk and get full sun exposure. And that's not always practical to do in the winter months, and it isn't always sunny out. I mean, what I do every morning, as soon as I get out of bed, first thing I do is just open the blinds and allow whatever sun is out there into the room, and I try to absorb as much of that. And then you go on the flip side of that after the sun sets. So after sunset, you want to dim the lights, excuse me, and you want to avoid blue light before bed. So the last thing you want to do is expose yourself to bright light after the sun goes down, because it sends conflicting signals to your body, right? Bright light tells your body that it's daytime, and at night, after the sunset, your body's naturally in a rhythm where it's trying to wind down and get ready to go to bed. So you want to try to keep the lights dim, and you want to avoid the blue light, obviously, from computers and your smart devices for at least an hour before you go to bed, right? See this image of this woman, what she's doing with the phone in her face in bed? You should never do that, okay? And you want to reinforce the regularity, right? So going to bed and waking up at consistent times is a biological cue for your immune system to get into gear, get working, and stay organized. Now, here's a little super tip, or it's really just a reminder. Your brain can't access its best creative solving problem abilities without deep rest. So protecting your sleep rhythm protects your capacity for innovation and problem solving, which as business owners is something we could always use more of, right? And I can tell you hands down, of course, that the two biggest factors that affect the quality of your sleep are stress and nutrition, which also have the biggest impact on health and on the optimal functioning of your immune system. And, it's important to understand that your body runs on a stress recovery cycle, or stress recovery cycles, I should say. not endless output, right? So when you ignore the other side, the recovery side, your immune system never gets the signal or the memo that it's safe to repair. So both your body and your business run on rhythms, right? Bursts of focused activity followed by intentional periods of recovery. Chronic stress keeps your immune system in defense mode 24/7, draining your energy, your clarity, and your resistance. So what it boils down to is when you're in constant go mode, your body can't shift into repair and restore mode, right? So think of your nervous system kind of like a seesaw, right? Too much go, not enough slow. You're always off balance, both physically, emotionally, and immunologically. So your immune system listens to your nervous system, which sets the tone. So when your nervous system is at a rhythm, your body can't find balance. But when you calm your body, you calm your chemistry, that lowers inflammation and restores immune focus. So the second key to building strong immunity isn't just about reducing stress, it's about what you'd call nervous system regulation. So how can you regulate your responses to stress? Okay, well, it all starts with awareness about what's going on up here between your ears and getting really clear on what triggers you, right? This is all about what I call your mental, emotional, and spiritual toxins, meaning who and what are you allowing to influence your thoughts, your feelings, and your spiritual world. And I came up with these nifty little names to help you remember. So your mental toxins are the runaways, right? That are your recurring negative or obsessive thought patterns, limiting beliefs, irrational or exaggerated fears. Your backstreet boys are your emotional world, right? The scope of your emotional world and how much of it is being influenced by outside influences and how much of your self-esteem is being based on external references. And then the black hearts are your spiritual toxins. And that's all about not living in alignment with your values, right? Your behavior and your actions are incongruent with your stated values. And a good example is actually a really good example of this would be like a doctor or a yoga instructor or a massage therapist, people who are in the healing arts who smoke cigarettes, which is a really toxic thing to do to your body. So if you're doing this toxic thing and you're in the business of healing, you're not congruent, right? You're not congruent with your values or the values that you say are important to you or that you live of. And then last but not least in that category is living out of harmony with nature. So all three of these, your mental, emotional, and spiritual, have both a direct and an indirect impact on your stress levels. And another way you can do it is to remember this. You can't control what other people say or do. The only thing you have control over is how you choose to interpret, react, and or respond to people and situations. And so emotional volatility like anger, anxiety, resentment, worry, things like that, they trigger the same physiological chemical response in your body as physical danger, that fight or flight response with your adrenaline, your cortisol, and inflammation. And when these hormones stay elevated, which happens when you're in a state of chronic stress, they suppress your immune cell activity and delay the repair. And speaking of interpretations, I love this kind of meme. It's one of my favorites. We live in a world of a million interpretations. You must resist staying stuck on just one. Who can relate to this? I mean, often our stubborn attachment to a particular worldview or perception blocks our ability to see other perspectives, and that keeps us stuck and in conflict. So the more you can open yourself up to different perspectives and opinions, the less stressed you'll ultimately be. All of this is by way of saying emotional awareness is immune awareness, right? So did you know that anger can suppress your immune system for hours afterwards? So it's important to keep your radar open and be paying attention to your emotional world, so to speak, because emotional regulation is one of the most underrated immune supportive tools that we have at our disposal. So every time you can calm your nervous system, you're giving your immune system permission to heal. And here's some tips for how to restore balance quickly, right? So practical ways you can do this. Always, always pause before you react, right? So pause before reacting. Even if you just do 10 seconds of deep breathing through your nose, this signals your vagus nerve to shift from fight or flight into rest and repair. Take advantage of grounding rituals like stretching and journaling, practicing gratitude, even inhaling, or I'm not inhaling, but enjoying a quiet cup of tea, all of these things can help reset your emotional tone. And then connecting with nature is also a really good one, very important one. Step outside, get some natural light, do some grounding barefoot if possible. Again, the conventional wisdom is you want to walk barefoot like in grass or dirt or sand, which of course is not always practical to do during the winter months. So what I say is if you have hardwood floors or you have wooden decks or stairs, you can go barefoot there, walk around on that just to connect with nature, get your body in connection. And then use sensory cues, music, touch, scent. All of these anchor the body back to safety. And then last but not least, reframe your stress, right? So instead of like saying to yourself, oh my God, I have to do this or I have to do that, shift it into, hey, I get to do this or I get to do that. And I'm being very general here, but I think you get the gist of what I'm trying to say here. This subtle mindset, it kind of pivots. It's a pivot. It lowers your internal tension and your chaos, and then it restores a sense of agency. So you should always be keeping this stress recovery cycle in mind and try to intentionally build these little micro recoveries into your business day, right? So 3 to 5 minute pauses to breathe, to move, to reset between your tasks. I think it can go a long way to helping with that. And whether it's prayer, meditation, time in nature, or quiet reflection, connecting to something greater than yourself rebalances your nervous system and reinforces a sense of purpose, both of which are really powerful antidotes to chronic stress. So simply just feeling connected to nature, to gratitude, to your own breath, it helps bring your body back into harmony, and your immune system feels that and appreciates it. Now, of course, one of the most valuable and powerful things you can do to raise your vibration and lower your stress is to cultivate an attitude of gratitude, right? It's vital for you to begin thinking of your self-care as a strategic productivity tool and not just a luxury, right? So we've talked about the importance of sleep, how to lower stress so you can calm the internal chaos. Now let's talk about another major source of imbalance at this time of the year, which is what we put in our bodies, specifically what goes in your mouth. This is the season, right? When sugar, simple and refined carbs, and wine just start showing up at every turn, right? It's part of the celebration, but it is also one of the biggest drains on your immune strength and your energy. So when it comes to proper nutrition and healthy eating, there are two sides to this coin. The first, of course, and most important is to avoid processed foods and foods that are made with low-grade contaminants, things that have been adulterated. So here's some examples of that. I like to call them party crashers, right? So you want to avoid foods, specifically avoid foods that are contaminated with pesticides, antibiotics, hormones, and genetically modified organisms, GMOs, and foods that are made with low-grade ingredients like processed sugars, trans fats, and pro-inflammatory vegetable and nut oil, seed and nut oils, especially when you're using them for cooking. And the flip side of this coin, of course, is making sure you increase your intake of whole foods with primary emphasis on nutrient density and ingredient diversity to ensure you're getting a good balance of macronutrients like your protein, your fat, and your carbs, and micronutrients and probiotics. And why is that so important? Well, 70 to 80% of your immune system actually lives in your digestive tract. So the health of your gut directly impacts the health of your entire body, including how you age, how much energy you have, and how well you can fight off the bad guys, right? The bacteria and other types of pathogens that make you sick. And what you eat and when you eat it, all of these send powerful signals to your immune, hormonal, and nervous systems. So during the holidays, those signals often get scrambled, right, by too much sugar, alcohol, and erratic eating behavior. Your body can handle the occasional indulgence, and that's not as so much of an issue. What it can't handle is never coming back to equilibrium, to balance. And it's the repetition of these patterns is what causes the imbalance and keeps it kind of in place. So here are some holiday recovery hacks. If you find yourself overindulging, we want to get you back on track as quickly as possible. So those are just kind of a quick overview. You want to rebalance your blood sugar, support your liver's detox, replenish nutrient reserves. I'm going to go into each one of these briefly. Eat your ABCs, eat more fiber, and ditch the guilt, right? So Let's talk about rebalancing your blood sugar. If you have a night or a day where you've overdone it, then the next morning, start with protein and fiber, not coffee or carbs, right? So think eggs and greens before muffins and mochas. And anytime you are having a meal or a dessert, having a small handful of nuts beforehand can also help slow the glucose absorption. So we want to get that back on track as quickly as possible. And then supporting your liver detox. So your liver bears the brunt of alcohol and sugar overload. So you definitely want to make sure you're properly hydrated. Hydrate with water and lemon or herbal teas, especially dandelion, milk thistle, and ginger. And make sure you include a good amount of cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, kale, and cabbage, and fresh herbs like parsley and cilantro for their natural detoxing enzymes. Then you want to load up on your ABCs. I have these out of order here, ACBE. You want to eat foods that are rich in these vitamins. Vitamin C, by the way, is one of the best antioxidants for fighting and preventing any virus because it supports white blood cell recovery. It can reduce the inflammatory response and it can lower the duration of common colds. And obviously, you can get Z from citrus fruits, berries, certain greens, bell peppers, and such. Vitamin B you can get from whole grains, beans and lentils, avocados, bananas, cold water fish, nuts and seeds. And you can also get your vitamin E from nuts and seeds, as well as butternut squash, other leafy greens, and broccoli. And of course, your vitamin A you get from all your orange colored foods like carrots, pumpkins, sweet potatoes, and oranges. Now, concurrent with that, you want to replenish your nutrient reserves. And what that is focusing on magnesium and zinc-rich foods. And you'll find a lot of that in things like pumpkin seeds, spinach, seafood. All of those are critical for immune repair and function. And studies show that people who are low on zinc have an increased susceptibility to a wide range of pathogens. And this becomes even more important as we get older because immunity typically declines with age due to nutrient deficiencies and impaired absorption. And then this little piece of advice, which is good all year round, eat more fiber-rich foods, right? So the scientific consensus is clear that plants offer amazing protective potential, and a diet high in fiber from plant-based sources is packed with immune supportive and enhancing phytochemicals that can protect you from a wide range of serious illnesses and diseases. Is this valuable? Are you guys getting some value from this? Hopefully you are. And as we get ready to sort of round it out, I want to give you some quick tips for how to return to your rhythm quickly. All right, so don't punish yourself or try to detox real harshly after overindulgence. Simply reset your pattern the next day. Get back to regular meals, early bedtime, gentle hydration, and ditch the guilt because it adds stress. And as we've already discussed, stress is just another form of immune suppressant. Think course correction, not punishment. Your body is incredibly forgiving. It just needs you to stop the chaos and return to consistency, and that's what restores balance. So, as you can see, everything we've talked about today, sleep, stress, and nourishment, comes down to one simple theme, and that's balance and realignment. And when your body's in balance, your immune system hums along, your mind sharpens, and your energy becomes steady and reliable. Not something you have to chase using caffeine or willpower or determination, right? Now, the holidays can easily throw all that off, but once you understand what your body really needs, and how your food choices affect your energy, your hormones, and your immunity, it becomes much easier to stay centered, even when life gets busy and tries to throw you off, right? And that's why I created my 5-day healthy eating holiday reset mini course. This is a short, self-paced course, just a little bit under 2 hours of practical, easy-to-consume video trainings. They're designed to help you finally cut through all the conflicting nutrition advice and get back to the essentials of what your body truly needs. So you'll discover small but powerful tweaks that make a big difference, right? How to eat for steady energy, reduce your cravings, and support your immune and hormonal balance as naturally as possible. So whether you're looking to drop the post-holiday weight, or you just want to start the year feeling strong and clear, back in rhythm with your body, this is a really easy and wonderful place to start. Now, course normally costs $197, but I'm offering it to the Gather community at a generous holiday discount. That's good through the end of the year. So from now through December 31st, you can get access to that for just $47. You might even consider gifting it to someone you know who could benefit. If you do want to do that, make sure you reach out to me personally at support@donyafahmy.com to arrange that. And I think, how are we doing on time, Tracy? You're muted.
I'm muted. I'm looking over here, looking over here. We're back on track time-wise, which
Oh,
with the
good. Okay.
delay, I appreciate, but you can certainly take a couple minutes to wrap up if you like, or if anyone has any questions.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions, happy to entertain them. I thought it was me. I was like, oh my God, now first you couldn't hear me. Now I can't hear you.
No. Nope, just the back and forth. And
Yeah.
here I'm going to remove the spotlight. I want to make sure everyone knows. So if you go to the dashboard to where all our speaker gifts are, the link that is with Donya's name is her special offer for her healthy eating reset. So no need to find it from the slide. It's on the dashboard under Donya's name. So that's really great. It makes it really easy for everyone who's interested to sign on up.
Check it out.
Yep, check it out. And you said if people want to reach you otherwise, support@donyafahmy.com is great as well. Any questions before we thank Donya for being here? Jana, please.
Hey, Jana.
Thank you so much. I always find your presentation so interesting, and I always get a nugget. So I made a comment in the chat, and I would love to get your thoughts around. My husband is insistent on falling asleep with the TV on. Tell me what to say to him to convince him, or not convince him
the first question
to finally get it.
The first question is, how close is the TV to your bed?
All the way across the room. I don't know, 10.
Okay, so that's a little bit better than having it right there in front of you. Is it?
Well, his phone is on his side table, but not on.
But does he actually watch it, or is it just like noise in the background?
He watches it till he falls asleep, and that's pretty quick.
I have a suggestion.
I mean, it's a habit, right? Yeah, go ahead.
Does your TV, a lot of smart TVs have sleep timers on them?
I don't know if it's smart or not, but we're almost due for a new one, so I'll keep that in mind.
When you get a new one, I'm sure
it keeps turning on all by itself. We turn it off, and in the middle of the night, it'll just turn on. It does it all the time.
But you could also ask him if maybe he might, I mean, this might be a little bit of a stretch, but maybe he could fall asleep to an audio meditation or something instead. If he's just needing something to help him unwind.
When I come in, I just worry about him having it on as he's sleeping.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it's not like a huge hazard, but it does, I mean, it's not like a big hazard. It's just that it does interfere with your circadian rhythm. So I don't know does he sleep well? Is sleep an issue for him?
He sleeps like a log. Other than, I don't know. So he sleeps all night, but he does have some violent outbursts, like he'll kick or punch or
in bed and while he's sleeping.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow, interesting. Well, I don't know if that's caused by that, but it's
I don't know. I thought maybe
something considering maybe that's how you talk him out of it. You can say, honey, that all that exposure to the blue light is making you do some really kind of disturbing things in your sleep.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're kind of doing a gentle persuasion.
Yeah, that affects my
reverse psychology. I'm worried about you, and also a couple times in the night you've kicked me. Just kind of soften it, position it, rather than making it like, oh honey, you got to stop.
And I like I'll use the audio idea, like listen to something good, right?
I have an uncle.
It's golf, at least it's not news.
Yeah, I had an uncle who used to, when he got home from work, he'd turn the radio on and he'd blast it, and then he'd just go to sleep with the radio on. And I'm not saying radio is a great idea either, but like maybe some kind of like a nice audio meditation or something gentle might even help with all that nocturnal activity.
Donya, and then Erica is also asking, is it a matter of lowering the EMFs in the room, or like is reading better than blah blah blah?
Is reading
and is it because it's the blue light is part of what you're talking about, but is also EMF in the room, or
EMF's also not good for you, right? You want to minimize. I mean, ideally you want to eliminate EMFs in your room altogether. I use a sleep app on my phone, so I have my phone on my nightstand, but I make sure that it's at least 3 feet away from my head, and it has a protective shield on it. So I've got one of these safe shields on it.
Yep.
So I turn it like this because the back of your phone is where most of the radiation comes out. So now the front part is the protective part. So at night I flip it. So it's on the back of the phone and then I put the phone down. So I'm not getting the light from the phone because that can wake you up. And so there's ways around it, but you really do want to minimize the amount of electromagnetic exposure in your bedroom, especially because that's when your immune system is trying to do its best work while you're sleeping.
Yep. Awesome. Okay, any more questions? Donya will have her breakout room in about a half an hour, as well as, of course, Mary's breakout room from her talk as well. Yeah, Kat, we pulled the TV out of our bedroom when I moved in with Tim, but he's that picture that you showed with the screen right here. That's how he sleeps.
Oh no.
But I sleep with a pillow blocking my entire
in between.
You know what?
Yeah,
because
I don't have
no
a
light.
TV.
I need no light.
I don't have a TV in my bedroom either. I grew up with a TV at the foot of my bed as a kid.
Yeah.
And in college I had that too, but I don't now. TV's, I mean, bedroom is where I go to sleep, and I don't want anything that interferes with that.
And Mary said something about falling asleep with the TV on in hotels, and that is also the only place that I sometimes do that. But I always put the timer on.
Yeah, wherever you can. If you have a timer, a feature,
use,
it's
helpful.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you, Donya, as usual, for all of the great information. I'm just like, I love sleep. I love rest. It's all good, and I hardly ever get sick. So here I am, living proof.
Yeah, it does make a difference. You don't know it, but it's a cumulative thing.
Yep, for sure.
But yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. Okay. And our third speaker of this round is the lovely and fabulous Lia Allen, coming to us all the way from Pennsylvania, who was just here in California only a week ago. I got to hug her for real. Lia is as natural a connector outside of myself as I've ever met. She wants to make sure that everyone knows everyone and that everyone knows about everyone else. What are they doing? What are they good at? What are they excited about? Lia wants to share it. She's already posted about this event like 5 times on her social media, which I love because I'm busy. So thank you for doing it. And I don't have to worry about it. Lia is going to be talking about celebrate, reflect, and realign for 2026, a fresh brewed approach for 2026. And the fresh brewed, of course, goes along with all of our coffee conversations earlier today. And the whole idea that, I love the analogy of like brewing something up, right? Something that's like mixes the things that are just part of who we are, and they create something that's magical. like coffee. All right, Lia, I'm excited for you to take the stage. Please, my friend, take it away.
Well, thank you, Tracy. I'm excited to be here. I'm also going to change my screen so I can see everybody. So we've all heard the quote or the axiom, if you will, those who can't remember the past are condemned to repeat it. And I wonder, that is true because when we're in business, especially, if we don't take a look at what we've done and we didn't have a good year, why would we keep doing it over and over again, right? We would like to take a look at what we've done, what's working, what's not working. And that's kind of the angle of where I'm going at with this talk. But I'm going to specifically talk about networking and being effective. I want to share a story about a client that I worked with. Her name is Michelle. And when I first met her, it was about 3 years ago. She was at a women's networking meeting that I was at. And she was sitting next to me and she was sharing with me, I just moved up from Baltimore. Just so you know, I live in York, Pennsylvania. I just moved up from Baltimore and I can't seem to make any traction. She is a personal chef and a caterer. And she just felt like nobody was, hiring her. She couldn't make any traction. So first I shared with her as a networker who's been doing this for over 30 years, that in our area, people want to know who you are, who's used you, and where are you from? York County is a very particular place to do business. So, in fact, when I first moved here 30 years ago or 35 years ago from New York, you can imagine I stuck out like a sore thumb. I had to slow down. I had to slow down my speech. I had to start using all my consonants instead of saying going with you. I had to say going with you. I had to learn how to talk. But one of the things when I was meeting people, they wanted to know what high school I went to or what school I went to. I'm like, well, I went to school in the Bronx. What does that have to do with anything? But in our area, it meant something. So learning that you had to figure out how to make that connection. So I told her she had to network. That was the first thing she had to do. She had to be in the right rooms, and then she had to really know what she did. She was really unclear when she would get up and do her 30-second commercial. It was hard to understand what she did because she was a personal chef, she was a caterer, she wanted to do classes for kids with autism to help them with cooking. She had all kinds of visions, but so she would try to say it all in her 30-second commercial, and people did not know how do I hire you? So we sat down and we came up with a plan. We came up with a bunch of 30-second commercials, each very focused and targeted. I introduced her to several different meeting rooms where the women were. And so she joined Polka Dots. She's in one room. She joined several other groups. And now she's a very successful local caterer. She does some personal cooking, but now she also does small events because she grew so big, she got her own event space. And now she's hosting personal events. And she's so excited about what she's doing that when she opened her event space, she honored me and asked me to be a part of her ribbon cutting ceremony because she said she couldn't have done it without me. And it meant so much to me to be up there helping hold the ribbon while they cut it. So all it took was a little bit of tweaking. So my goal today is to talk to you about basically doing the right things at the right time. So I want to share with you the framework. We're going to talk about presence, engagement, relationships, and conversion. So when it comes to presence, where are you showing up? What groups are you in? Are you in B and I'm in BNI. I'm actually everywhere. Most people know that, but I'm in BNI. I'm a polka dot. There's in most areas, there's a chamber meeting. There's industrial organizations, depending on what you're selling or doing. So you need to know what the right group is to be in. So one of the thing that I'm offering today on my page is a year in review worksheet. It's like a checklist, and you can go through and actually check off and figure out what's working for you. And then at the end, you'll figure out how to work on next year. So when you're doing your presence, do you need to be in a women's group? Are you doing online networking, and what online networking is working? Ask yourself, where did I show up? Which rooms did I are aligned with my clients? So if you don't know who you serve, then you don't even know what rooms to be in. So you really need to know who you serve. So that is the first step. And did you feel energized when you were in the room? I tell people, and when I'm coaching them, go to the meeting and immediately feel the energy. You know if you fit in or not. That's like a really quick hit. And then sometimes you just walk out of there and go, well, that didn't work out. And that's okay. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 meetings to really gel. So don't give up. Give it 2 or 3 meetings to figure out. Maybe you just need to make the right connections in the room. So the second part is engagement. So you need to rate yourself. Here are the things I want you to rate yourself on. Did you participate meaningfully? So just because you showed up doesn't mean that that's a successful event. Did you talk to people? Did you do one-on-ones afterwards? Did you schedule one-on-ones? I always tell people, so in my BNI group, from time to time, someone will show up. They'll spend a lot of money to join the group. And all they do is show up for the meeting. My meeting's Tuesday mornings. They show up Tuesday morning, and as soon as the meeting is, they show up right on time at 7:30. As soon as the meeting's over, they're out the door, and they never talk to anybody. That's not a great way to have a meaningful contact in the room. So you have to say to yourself, I say to people, show up early and stay late. I always schedule, especially so Tuesday's my networking day. I show up at BNI at 7. The meeting starts at 7:30. So from 7 to 7:30, I am networking with whoever walks in the door. the meeting ends at 9, I leave an hour after the meeting in case I have an opportunity to have a one-on-one with somebody. I always have that slot open because I don't want to miss an opportunity to have a conversation. I know that I get a lot of business from BNI. So just to share, for those of you who don't know, not only am I a coach for networking, but I own a painting business. So the painting business does really well in BNI. So I don't want to be there running out the door as soon as the meeting is over. Do you ask thoughtful questions to get to know the people? When you're having a one-on-one, it's not about you telling them everything there is about you. In fact, if you're really good, you never tell anything about you. You hope they ask you questions, but you want to be the one asking the questions, getting to know the person. I always love to ask, how did you get started with what you're doing? You know, how did you start in this line of business? People's stories are always fascinating to me. And the more I get to know the people, the more I realize how amazing they are. And then I'm able to refer them. Is my message memorable? What are you saying when you go in the room? What is your 30-second commercial? Are you clear about what you do? Like Donya today in her presentation, oh my gosh, I was like, she is so knowledgeable. I am confident that whatever she says is going to work because you can tell she really knows her stuff. So if she were to get up at a 30-second commercial, she would have maybe each week a different topic that she could talk about because she has so much breadth of things she could talk about. And then the main thing is, are you making engagement after the meeting, either before or after? You need to have one-on-ones. I'll tell you what, that is where the money is when it comes to networking, is that time that you have after the meeting. Coffee time. So I joke about coffee because that's my thing. Paula and I have our coffee thing. But we have about, I don't know, I think 20 coffee shops in our area. And I have visited all of them. And I have a lot of meetings at coffee shops. And it's an incredible, incredible opportunity. So ask yourself, how did I contribute value to the room I attended? Did I clearly communicate what I do and whom I serve? And where could I show up more confidently and consistently? So being consistent is really the key. And I think we all know that, but that's huge. So relationships, who you nurtured. You want to be the person who's giving referrals. So that is one of my favorite things, is the top people who referred to, knowing the top people who referred to me, and then who did I refer to? Schedule the one-on-ones, sent follow-up messages. Did you follow up with people? The fortune is in the follow-up, let's face it. And follow-up could be as simple as a DM on Facebook. Hey, it was great meeting you at the meeting. Let me know if you have time to get together or have a quick Zoom meeting. You could schedule a half-hour Zoom meeting with somebody. And, winter is a really particularly challenging time to schedule meetings, at least by us. Now, maybe where you are, it's not. But tomorrow we're going to have snow. It's really cold here. It's only 28 degrees. So people don't want to go out. But you can do a Zoom meeting in the comfort of your own home or your own office. Did I give referrals? I want to be known as somebody's personal Rolodex. That's my favorite thing. And typically when somebody calls me, they say, Lee, I know you know somebody who does this. Who do you know that does this? When that happens, I know I've done my job, because people know that I know people that are going to help them and that have been vetted. So if you could be a referral giver, let me tell you, people will be drawn to you. So getting to know the people, that's the whole point of the one-on-ones, is to get to know people. And the other piece is under relationships is building strength in partnerships. So one of my favorite things to do is have referral partners or collaboration. So Monday, for example, I am meeting with somebody named Caston, who is a branding expert. And we're getting together to talk about how we can do a branding marketing type of day, like a VIP day together, because she can talk about the branding, I can talk about the niche and who to talk to. And it's going to be so much fun putting a VIP day for our clients. And it's like one-stop shop. So let's talk about which relationships grew the most which connections need to be nurtured more for next year, and whom do I want to build deeper partnerships with? So take a look at your list of people. Is there someone on your list that maybe you could say, you know what, I think that if I work, so Paula, for example, is somebody that I do a lot of, she's like in my back pocket. I keep her with me at all times, but I know that I'm not even close to tapping into the potential that we have together. So that's on my list, is to be able to find ways that Paula can support me more in my business. So the last piece is conversion. What did your networking produce? So this is where the rubber hits the road. Do you know what is working? Like I can tell you right now, because of the way BNI is structured, I can open up my app and look at it. I know how much business was given to me in the last 6 months, 12 months, and lifetime that I've been there. I can tell you how much I referred and how much business and how many one-on-ones I did, how many meetings I've been to, how many visitors I've invited to the room. It is awesome because I know that when I take every year when my membership comes up, I open up my little app and take a look at how much business I got, and I go, this is a no-brainer. I get enough business here that it's worth the investment. So do you know the rooms that you're in? Is it worth the investment to be there? For me, Polka Dots is another place where I spend, I don't know, what's it, 200 a year every time you renew? I get way more than that in my investment back. So you have to know, first of all, what is it costing you? And then are you getting enough back to make it worth your time? So what clients did you get? You want to track that. You want to know what referrals you received. What collaborations and partnerships have you developed? So sometimes it's not about just dollars and cents. It's about, what partnerships. So for example, in Polka Dots, I have so many partners that I have done programs with, and we've done so many collaborations that even if I don't get one client out of Polka Dots, but I have a collaborating partner, it's worth the price of admission. So you have to decide what makes sense for you. And then visibility is, sometimes when you're in a room, it's more about visibility and not necessarily about the clients that you're going to walk away with. So then you want to take a look at what was the highest ROI in your networking activities, and what was the highest return on your energy. So sometimes the ROI and the energy do not mix. So you might be in a room that you're getting a lot of clients, but you feel like you're selling your soul to get those clients. So only you can decide whether it's worth spending time in that room. You have to make that decision. If that's not working for you, it's okay to say, you know what, this is not working for me. I want to try a different room. You get what you put into it, but sometimes it's just the wrong room to be in, and the people are not good. So have you ever walked into a room and everyone's complaining, no one's being generous? You want to be in a room where there's generosity and love and kindness. That's why I love women's networking groups, but not all of them. Let me tell you, I've been to some women's networking groups that, well, let's just say, very catty, crazy. So you want to be in the right room. Exactly. Mean girls. There are definitely some mean girls out there. So what networking helped your business the most? You want to kind of take a look at that. What needs to be adjusted for 2026? And what should you continue doing? And what should you stop doing? So the biggest thing that I want you to look at, you're going to get this year in review. And on the second page, for 2026 prep, you want to create a stop doing list. That is huge. A stop doing list is so powerful. What rooms did not work? What people would you like to end relationships with? And it's okay to do that. What are you going to continue doing? Which room is like, man, I'm going to be in that place no matter what? And is there a new thing you want to start? Is there a new group? Maybe you added a new profit center and it requires a new niche or a new group of people to talk to. Take a look at that. I know that we heard a lot of people talking about writing books. That might require a whole different group of people to talk to get your book out there and to make those connections. So yesterday, Tracy did this exercise about your word of the year. And I thought it was so much fun. So you want to also think about what is your word of the year, to kind of piggybacking on that. And what room can help you achieve that word? Like think about the room, think about the word and what room will get you there. And then you want to come up with 3 action steps that you're going to do hell or high water. The first thing you're going to do when you start 2026. So I wanted to talk about my giveaway. And actually, I'm going to put a couple of documents in the chat that will help you, because I think it's important to have these documents. Let me put this in. I think this will work. Yep. All right. These were things that I kind of talked about today. And if you're a visual person, you probably need to have the documents. But my giveaway is the year in review sheet, the checklist, but I'm also offering 50% off my networking boot camp that's coming up next month. It's, I think, January 6th. And there's a code there, WC25. So if learning how to network effectively is important to you, one of the things that you get in that boot camp is you get a networking plan. You get several 30-second commercials. We work through the whole process of getting 30-second commercials. We come up with a budget. We come up with places to figure out where we talk about your niche, and then is your niche hanging out? You want to know where they are. So we give that, we set that up. So it's 2 hours of very action-packed, and there's networking built into the time together. So if that's something that would be of interest to you, I just wanted to let you know that I'm offering that. And I know I'm ending a little early, I believe, but that's okay. I'm trying to keep us on time. If anyone has questions, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, I have to say, Lia, your expertise just flows so strongly now. Like the growth of your like standing in your knowledge is power situation is off the charts. Congratulations. Really, really great. You guys, if you don't like networking, you're doing it wrong. And she can tell you how to do it right. Because we all want to connect with people. We all want to meet potential clients, help people. That's why we're here. So if you tell yourself, oh, I don't want to go to that, it's not good, I don't want to, you got to talk to Lia, because she will help you see how it doesn't have to be complicated, but there is, a way to move forward with it. Erica, another BNI queen.
Yeah. I bet that Miss Leah, I bet you know a lot of strategy for those people who would like to just hang out behind the the counter and not really interact with people. Like, so I bet you have the strategy and tools for like more introverted energy types to go and like just talk to 3 people, and then you don't have to do anything else in your night and things like that. So like I highly recommend talk to Lia if you're one of those types and get strategies.
Actually, that's my favorite person to help.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because so much can change with just a couple of strategic plans.
Or go bring Lia with you to the networking, or bring somebody like me because I'm a great wing person for people who are more introverted.
Yes.
Awesome.
Jenna.
Love it.
I just wanted to share that, Lia, I find you massively impressive in your knowledge and your delivery of networking. And this coming from someone who I think I'm 15 years in BNI. And the day I walked in, I was like, no way can I be here for lunch every single day or every single week this year. And 15 years later, I'm still doing it. Crazy. And 6 years in polka dots. So yeah, it's such an important piece of our businesses, especially if we're that face-to-face, like local boots on the ground kind of business. You need organic business from your own community. Yep. It's an amazing way. And now with the internet and all the like this community, our whole world is opened up. So much to do. So thank you for all you do to help other people, because we all know There's enough pie for everyone. So
Yes.
Right.
Yes, there is. Amen.
I love
Thank
that.
you.
Jana, you got to tell her that you pulled her line out. She will be so excited.
yes, credit to Katerina.
Credit to Katerina. I love that. Awesome. Well, Lia, I'm excited for your talk. Thank you so much for bringing that to us. And my friends, it's time for breakout rooms. We've got breakouts for Lia and for Donya and for Mary Knippel, not Mary Wu. We've had that conversation in the chat just now. And, you know, when we think back, and sometimes I want you to think about like which one of these additional little pieces of time is really going to support you. Are you looking to make some changes so that you have a holistic feeling that you can move forward because you are now sleeping better? Are you looking at your networking for next year? Is that your goal? Or maybe you know that the stories that are inside you, you've been thinking about it and you've been thinking about it and you just haven't decided, maybe haven't realized that the time is now to move forward with getting those stories out into the world. So you've got 3 amazing breakout rooms to choose from. We're going to open up those rooms for 10 minutes. Go ahead and hop right into whichever one serves you best. And if you need help getting in there, we will help you. Paula, let's open them up. We're going to put Donya in Donya's room. And we're going to put Lia in Lia's room. And Mary's in Mary's room. Where else can we help you to get to, my friends?
Unmute before you tell us.
Yeah.
Do we know Santiago? Is
I
he
don't know who Santiago
Erica, is
is.
Santiago your friend? No?
Do
Okay.
you know anyone named Santiago?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Okay. Just asking.
Yeah, we have someone waiting.
Santiago.
All right, where people who
is
wants
he
to go to
cute?
breakout rooms? You guys are all hanging out here. Let's get you going.
Go, Mary. Where you want to go? Mary Wu. There was 3 Marys on earlier. You're muted, my friend.
Jana, how about you?
I was going to ask you guys a question, so I'm hanging for 1 minute. And then
Okay.
I know how to get where I'm going.
Elizabeth, how about you?
The more
Welcome.
button.
Yeah, where's the
Uh,
button?
I'd like to
Oh,
go
I
to
know where
Leah's
it is.
breakout room.
You got it.
Yeah, the breakout button isn't there for me right
Okay,
now.
well, where do you want to go? Let's get you going.
Leah.
You got it.
You know what? It's not there.
Leah.
How about Susan Zartman? Where do you want to go? Terry Sayre, where do you want to go?
Leah.
Carissa.
What were
I
the,
can't move my window. There
who
we
was
go.
the, okay, yeah, Donya, and who was the first person?
Mary Knippel.
Gosh, I don't know. Let's go to Donya. What
Wu,
the
you
heck?
said Leah, right?
It's like, I don't know.
I said Leah.
Mary said Leah. Chris is not here. Erica, Tanya, how about you?
Mary Knippel.
You got it. Erica?
I was